How's it going, Russell?
How are you doing? We're joined by Kent from Ireland. How are you?
Northern Ireland, Russell.
Sorry, Northern
It's
Ireland. Sorry, it's a bit controversial. That's why I think Jerry's had a fallout with me. But Jerry, you know
well,
where I am if you want to come back to the fold. Oh God, I don't know what's happening with people, but you lads over there are a bit forceful about where you live and all that, aren't you?
yeah. Well, we're very proud. We're very cultural, and it's just a you just have to go and research the troubles in Northern Ireland. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's a very. Some people find it very controversial and very confusing. I don't. So
No.
that's me, and I'm not gonna fall out with somebody or cry about something that I just it's not me, to be honest with you.
Oh, have you been, Kent? Say all right. You
I'm
well?
I'm really good, Russell. You're looking really healthy. You're looking really healthy. You look fantastic.
£165. I've just done a 5 mile this morning. It rained through Staffordshire. I'm knackered. I had to walk last mile. I couldn't do it, mate. I didn't take your advice, did I, with trainers? I'm still running in them
Lacoste trainers.
Lacoste tennis shoes. Well, I went to get some, what you said, with 300 quid. I'm not paying that. I'm not a proper runner like you, am I? So I settled on some high-tech Silver
Silver
Shadow.
shadows.
They're up Norfolk at factory, so I'll have to go get them. Yeah, old school. Yeah, but Ken, they may be Silver Shadow, but they do them in black now, kid like mine. But I couldn't find them a couple of weeks when I was looking for them, so I'll have to go see if I
How
can.
much did you pay for them?
It was 60 quid, the Mytech Silver Shadows, 60 quid. When I was a kid at school, they were really popular because the SAS use them, don't they, for their training, don't they? They're like an all-weather type of thing. They're not as good as what you wear, but they're like an all-rounder, aren't they? If Army use them, they must be good, eh?
Well, to be quite honest with you, they were one of the very first to do padded shoe technology. So
Lighter.
the Silver Shadow were a really well padded cushion shoe. So if you probably matched them up with some of the shoes now that you're paying a lot of money for, they're probably just as good, if not better.
Yeah, well, they were 5 times cheaper than them that pair you wear that I went to look at.
So
Five
if
times
anyone's
cheaper.
out there and they're going to do a bit of running, go and get yourself a pair of high-tech Silver Shadow for 60 quid.
I
How's
got a
that?
crotch pair 10 years ago. Then. I got him a pair today. Yeah, I bet he's never wore them. He'll give them his dad all early or something. But listen, they're supposed to be all right. I've only used them once or twice, I think. But mine are black, not silver. But the silver ones are the old school ones, aren't
Proper Silver Shadows.
they? Here, I'll tell you an high-tech funny story. When I went up to Edlow Comp, I had these boots and they were Stanley sock, and I was like, "Eh, what are them? I'm going to get tortured." My dad goes, "It's not the boot, it's the player." He says, "Look at there was a kid in my year, forgetting how Sonny. He says, "Look at Sonny, he's not bothered about what boots he's got, he's wearing rings around them all." I was like, I want a good pair though for comp. He went, "No, that's all you're getting." Anyway, eventually I blagged me mum. She got me a pair of high-tech football boots. She says, "I'll get you a pair from town, not from market, though, because they were Sug Sports." I went, "Go on, mum, please, just save me life." Come back with high-tech. I was like, high-tech? I said, "I want some Patrick Keegan King or Puma Daglish." She goes, "No, high tech, 15 quid." I was like, "Oh, okay." And that was only periodic camp. I wondered. There were kids in that school with Nike to Ian Rush and what on, trick boots then, like 80, 90 quid. Can you imagine 42 years ago paying that? You wouldn't pay that
Mad.
now, would you?
Mad. And to be fair, Roy Keane, actually, Roy Keane and Andy Townsend wore high-tech boots.
Yeah, Roy Keane got a Diodora deal though, didn't he, when he got to Man U,
And
didn't
and Dennis Ways as well
he?
wore high-tech boots as well.
Dennis Wise, eh? So that's a name from the past. Okay. What trainers did you wear at school, Kent? Were they good ones?
Yes.
I had crap ones. That's why I had to get a paper round kid. But okie dokie. Well, listen, Kent, there's a lot gone on in the sport of boxing since we last spoke. And I think we need to put our tuppence worth in Kid. What do you think?
Just to start, I just want to say I'm really gutted to hear about the passing of Mike McCallum, the body snatcher.
I had it on my list, can't you? Yeah, it's awful, isn't it?
For me, Russell, we talk about boxers and we talk about great fighters. Mike McCallum is in one of my top five fighters of all time. Technically, one of the greatest fighters ever. That style of his, that this is a man that used to in camp sit and watch reels of tape of Sugar Ray Robinson. That's where he used to go in the camp and just study Sugar Ray Robinson. He used to mimic the moves. You look at his balance, slip, slide, parry,
Yeah.
feints. For me, he's the greatest fighter I've ever seen of all time, slipping shots. His attacking, his defensive attack. For me, the greatest fighter, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Now, this is a man that won titles at, late, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight. Went up to win a light heavyweight title against Jeff Hardy, the Australian, who was a seasoned light heavyweight. A great fighter. This man was, for me, a holy grail of greats. He was the first ever Jamaican world champion. He
Mm.
was an amazing fighter. He was obviously trained by the great late Eddie Futch, who went on to train the
Riddick
great Wayne
Bowe.
McCulloch from Northern Ireland and Riddick Bowe.
He's your pal anyway, McCulloch, isn't he?
Yeah, I grew up with Wayne. I started out in that old in Wayne's old club. It's obviously not there now, but
He gave
Mike
Naz all he
McCallum.
could, didn't he?
I thought he if he had started a bit earlier against Nas, he could have got a decision. It was just starting that wee bit later. But you look at the fighters. We talk about resumes of fighters. Look at McCallum. McCallum, Milton McCrory, Donald Curry, Sambu Makabe, Harold Graham. Harold Graham took him to a split decision.
Half a
Russell,
point he lost by Errol Graham, but they took a point off Errol in 8th round, didn't they?
that's probably the best performance of Harold Graham's career. That's how good a fighter Harold Graham was.
Mm.
He had that trilogy with James Toney. Obviously, a controversial draw the first fight, then two losses. But as you say, Russell, better still, I actually worked with a guy who fought Mike McCallum in the 1978 Edmund Olympic final, Commonwealth Games, and that was Kenny Beattie from the Shore Road. I worked with Kenny for a
Did he
brief
win
period.
gold medal, Mike McCullum?
Yes, he beat Kenny.
I mean, Jamaican
And
Mike McCullum, wasn't he?
yes, he's the
Yeah.
first ever Jamaican fighter to win a world title from Kingston in Jamaica. And it's another funny story. I worked with another guy who was Jamaican, and he said that he used to watch Mike McCallum train on the beach way back, but I think it was a bit of a lie because he was from Montego Bay and Mike was from Kingston, so it doesn't add up. But Mike McCallum for me, Russell was an all-time great fighter.
Dylan White from Kingston, Jamaica.
I'm not sure, but he calls himself the body snatcher. No, he's not the body snatcher. Mike McCallum's the body snatcher.
I wonder if that's why he's nicked that name because he might have been Dylan Zero or something. Well, not nicked it, but used it. I wonder if he's Dylan Zero. I'm sure Dylan's from Kingston, Jamaica.
It was actually Adam Smith that christened Mike McCallum the body, or sorry, it was actually Adam Smith who christened Dillian White the monarch of the body snatcher.
Here we are, Dylan White. Born Port Antonio, Portland, Jamaica. Oh, it's not Kingston, is it? Where have we got that from? Kingston, Jamaica. Anyway, it don't matter. Look, Dylan White's spent, and let's have it. I mean, he's been pulled off this show this weekend, hasn't he? But I did call it a couple of weeks ago, and I said he's not going to fight on that. They're just putting him on there so they can shift a few more tickets because they weren't selling many, were they? Because nobody's got no money, have they, no more? to go, doing Froch Groves as
I
Wembley
don't
jobs
think
and all this.
Russell. I don't think Russell right now. They're looking at this. All started a couple of years ago with Joss Warrington, football tickets, football fans. Football fans will not buy boxing tickets. It's you'll get a
And they
small
keep aligning
percentage of them.
themselves to football teams, these boxers, don't they? Have you noticed?
I don't mind. I don't mind a boxer supporting the team, but when you're looking to buy into the support, it's not there. It's not guaranteed support, and I don't think Fabio Wardley right now is that attraction and that profile that to sell out of football. Now, he is a formidable fighter. Like I talked about Fabio Wardley 2 years ago and beating Joshua, and there was comments in the comment section basically questioning my morality. But I think he's a really good fighter. I think he needs to maybe be an arena fighter for at least a year, then try and get a stadia fight. I don't think right now he's that profile that the sell out a football stadia.
Yeah. What are you weighing these days, Kent? Now, because you put a bit of beef on this. People were saying in the comment section a few weeks back.
Last time I was weighed, I was 165.
That's what I weighed this morning. That's old middleweight amateur.
I was
11
165, and that was a
11.
month ago. I
11
think I'm
11,
about
isn't it?
168 now. I've been training a lot. I've cut the cardio down a lot, and I'm just doing a lot of weight training. I'm lifting every day near enough, so it's working out all right. I deadlifted. I got a PB in my deadlift last week,
How much?
so I'm happy enough. 140.
Go on, Kent, man, lifting them big weights. Hey, a bird called Carla asked me, Kent, to ask you if you can eat a fruit pastel without chewing it.
What does that even mean? Doesn't make
I don't know.
sense.
She'd had a lot to drink. You know what I mean? And she likes
Don't
poker.
understand the question. Sorry.
Well, you put one of these in your mouth, Kent. That's a fruit pastel. So what you do, you put it in your gob, and you can't chew it. Right. Has anybody ever tried this? Put it in your gob. Let me just look for green ones. Here we are. I like green, me.
Many grams of sugar in a sweet.
Loads. I'll have loads of sweets, man. I'm gonna see if I can do it. So, all you people watching my channel, can you eat? Sorry, can you eat a fruit pastel without chewing it? Oh, work, innit?
Russell, that sounds like something John Fury would do. Remember the Ferrero Rocher world record?
Well, we're cringe on here, aren't we, at times? So, it's hard, but I can do it. Right, Ken, did you see? Oh, sorry, let's finish with. Well, we've spoke about Dylan White's fight to Fabio Wardley's show this weekend. Who we got, Wardley or Hooney?
Hooney. I
What,
think it's a
Hooney?
hard fight. Yeah, I think people are forgetting that Justin Hooney was an Olympian. He's fought at a really high level, and we go back 3 years ago and we look at Daniel Dubois fighting Kevin Lorena. Kevin Lorena absolutely smashed Daniel Dubois about the ring. He dropped him 3 times and should have had a stoppage win. Justice Hooney actually ran through Kevin Lorena like he wasn't even there. So, and Kevin Lorena is a very, very good fighter. I think Kevin Lorena,
Yeah, go on.
he only stepped up from cruiserweight at that time. Kevin Lorena is a really good fighter. Kevin Lorena is probably one of the most avoided fighters from cruiserweight up at heavyweight the last couple of years. So I think I really like Fabio Wardley. I've been high about him on the channel for 2 and 3 years now, more than anybody has. But I think Justice Hooney's a guy that possibly could drop Wardley and beat him. He's a really, really good fighter. This is a gauge. This is going to mark the gauge of how good is Fabio Wardley right now. How good a fighter is he? Because Justice Hooney is a dangerous fighter.
Hooney didn't medal though at Olympics, did he?
He's you're still in that fraternity of elite heavyweights. You know, you look at we go back a couple of weeks and we look at elite heavyweights and we look at heavyweights of domestic and we look at novice. You know, you just have to look at Johnny Fisher to see the level of having no amateur experience. Somebody like Dave Allen with amateur experience, and now somebody like Justice Heaney, who was at the Olympics. So I just think Justice Heaney's a really good fighter. I think he's an up and coming fighter. I think it's a more dangerous fight than Big Baby Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Big Baby Miller's not a puncher, right? He's not a big puncher. He's a good chin, and he tires after 6 rounds now. You know, he's obviously I christened him Big Pharmacy Miller. After 6 rounds, he's absolutely no threat whatsoever. Justice Hooney's going to be a threat as long as he's in the fight. So I
Okay.
think it's a much harder fight.
So Uni went to Olympics, didn't medal. Wardley went in with its big freeze. He medalled a bronze, and he just put him on bottom moon. So there's two sides to the coin isn't there, on this one, Kent, isn't there, really? Do you think?
There is, but you look at the first fight. You know, the first fight, Russell, that you could
Could have gone either
argue
way, couldn't it?
that Clark beat him. I thought Clark beat him just on. I thought that Wardley was really tired. Like the last couple of rounds, he had no oxygen whatsoever in his body, and I think I think Fabio's a fast twitch fighter. I think he's most dangerous early on with big shots and power. So I think it's a good fight. I was excited about it when I seen Justice Hooney was put in. I was excited about it. I thought it was a much better fight.
Okay, don't really much else to talk about on that show. But I've got Wardley, Kent, by knockout inside 3 rounds. You've got Hooney to win by late stoppage, haven't you? Did you say, or what on points?
Yes, late stoppage.
Okay, right then.
That's
You,
brave.
what me going
That's
for?
brave.
Me going for Wardley like,
No,
inside
me
three
going
rounds.
for Hooney. That's brave.
Yeah, you're going against the grain. What we have on here. You're supposed to fucking agree with me, can't you know?
I'm not like all the other guys that come on the channel. You know, the likes of the Andes and all that. They just agree with everything you say. You know, I'm not like that. So I will go against the grain rule. I'm not a corporate porky. I will go against the company, the corporate
Cool.
identity, and go against you.
Cool. But you're talking like I'm running a big business. Jesus, I've got Barclaycard. I've got Nick Man looking for me. Had to move. Uh, okay. Jug ears, Spencer Oliver, Judge Jordan, Simon Jordan, and Lazy Rhino. They were annoying me. That 48 minutes I want back in my life. You know, when you're listening to Jug ears saying Joseph Parker's 30-year-old, Dave Allen saying, yeah, he's only 30. He's 33 and a half, actually. You know, he's 34 just after Christmas, big first week in January. So why don't people do the research before they go on mainstream media and start spouting? And I think Simon Jordan, I think he's losing plot with some of his questioning as well. It's like he's got been given this position as like this head honcho host in boxing, and everything's all the traffic goes through them now, doesn't it? About what's happening towards. But it's not IFL and all these other channels because we all know they buy subscribers, don't they? When you're averaging 20 odd thousand a video, but you've got a million subs, there's a problem because what are the other
Yeah.
980,000 doing? So nobody buys into them what they say because they're in-house media, aren't they, for promoters. But Talksport, they're supposed to be impartial. Well, how can they be impartial when they're carrying off like they're doing? It, it, it's been going on and on and on and on. And Joe Gallagher made a good point that it's in-house stuff in it, and that they're aligned with promoters. And look, if Eddie Hearn turns around and says, or Eddie Hills, if he turns around and says, right, we're going to do Lazy Rhino against Elmer Fudd trilogy. He'll call on all these YouTubers to go out there and push it. Like they are Dave Allen this week, aren't they? You can't turn internet on without seeing Dave Allen. But when all's said and done, he's knocked out a novice rugby player who was 25-year old, and he really that's the bottom line, isn't it? When you strip it bare,
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
got a novice fighter with no fundamentals being knocked out by an old school journeyman who was well travelled and sparred everybody. That's it. That is it. People are losing their minds over it. There's other people that agree with me, and there's other people that don't. But I want to see Dave Allen fit. I don't want to see him on Talksport, fat as a pig, looking scruffy, unshaven, and talking about how much ice cream he eats. I don't want to see that. I don't want to. And giving it all the while, I just want a bathroom in my house and all that. Dave, you own half of Cunningsborough. Stop with that. Stop with that. Just normal bloke to chat. It don't wash with me that. I want to see him fit and I want to see him in a fight. Now, if he gets Wilder fight, would that even mean anything with State of Wilder at the moment? Would it?
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this fat slob, monarch.
Daft Dave persona. Yeah, it's winding
Yeah,
me up now because I know him
this
very
is a
well.
guy
It's
that was
like
buying
fooling
properties.
David, you're fooling people. Give it all.
You,
Start
he
being
was.
yourself. Be yourself. Don't be this daft man. This daft
It's
Steve.
boring now. It's boring that like he was talking about buying properties 10 years ago, and now
Oh,
he's talking about he wants a new sink in his kitchen.
it's a load of crap.
It's boring. You look at the golf and class there. Johnny Fisher had
Go on,
basically
you.
no amateur career whatsoever. He's been thrust into the limelight. He's got this Bosch gimmick and basically sells tickets. That doesn't mean you can fight. That doesn't mean you can actually fight. For years there has been, great characters over the years, British heavyweights, but they could actually fight. You look at Billy Walker way back in the 70s,
Billy
who
Walker.
actually who could fight. Who was a really seasoned amateur. He was a part of that England team that beat USA, wiped the floor with him. He could fight. Henry Cooper, he could fight. Joe Bugner, he could fight. These were all British heavyweight fighters who crossed over really well but could fight. He can't. There's no amateur experience whatsoever. He's a complete novice fighter. And to be honest with you, Russell, Dave Allen didn't need to get fit to beat him. He didn't. He didn't need to get fit to beat him. So, and as well, it's all this talk about Jamie Moore was on talking about, yeah, I got him a deal with Eddie Hearn. Well, look what
Jamie
happened the
Moore got him
last
a deal. He
time.
got Jamie. He got his own deal. Oh man, everybody wants to take credit for stuff. David's cunning like a fox. He probably knows more about boxing than Jamie Moore.
You look at the last time he aligned himself with Eddie and turned down that money and that rematch money with Daniel Dubois. You'd be turned around saying, right, you know what? I'm going to go to Frank. I'm going to go to Eddie. I'm going to go with whoever and who offers me the best deal. And to be honest with you, it wasn't the deal that was negotiated. It was part of the contract. It was an option deal. So it was like, you remember the way the Klitschko's used to do deals with, like, if you beat one of them, you had to fight another brother and you had to fight for a pay cut in the rematch. That's probably the same type of, not saying it's the same deal, but it's what they call options. It's not actually a deal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if Rhino doesn't get Wilder next, do you think they'll put him in with Fisher again?
I don't think Fisher is going to be ever ready. I think they're going to bring him down a route of,
His dad's piped down, hasn't he? The big fat man.
it's not about him. It's really not about him. They'll probably bring him down the route of Christian Hammer, Marius Vac. That'll be for the next 2 years. Then they'll probably gamble on another intercontinental title in 2 and 3 years. But going as far as fighting anybody domestically, he's nowhere near it.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. What about the noise around the campfire that they do want to put Rhino in with Wilder because they were going to put Fisher in with Wilder if he'd have beat Allen. And if Fisher had lost to Wilder, Wilder had obviously would have knocked him out and they'd have made the Joshua fight look good. If Fisher would have beat Wilder, Fisher would have got the Joshua bounty because they're looking for a lame duck, aren't they? Cannon fodder for Joshua. Do you see where I'm coming from? That's why Joshua's parked up. Because if Joshua ain't going to get Fury, right, and I don't think that fight ever happens, if he ain't going to get him, he's got to fight somebody because he's got a lifetime deal with Matchroom, hasn't he? And Eddie, hopefully, and Eddie will hope that Joshua can keep winning because if he keeps losing, Joshua might say, do you know what? He's got 4 losses now, hasn't he? If he has another one loss, 5 or another one, it's probably even going to be pay-per-view and it's going to get to the stage now where top 30 guys are flogging him. Are they going to keep wheeling Joshua out 2 years from now if he's got seven losses? They're
No,
not going to do, are they?
no. I personally think it's one or two fights. That's all. That's all
Yeah,
he's
for
got.
Joshua, yeah.
That's it. They
Okay.
can't take the risks now of putting him in with anyone. Really, anyone?
Hmm. Right. Is Parker a bogeyman, Ken?
No. Who? Listen, I am sick of all this bullshit on Talk Sport, on social media. Let's be honest right now, right? Russell, let's be honest right now. Joseph Parker, 2.5 years ago, was knocked out, was knocked out by big truck, like knocked out. So Joe Joyce, he was knocked out by big truck Joe Joyce, like knocked out. He's beat Arsen Medak Makhmadov, who is bloody awful, like bloody awful. Was a freak show attraction. Let's be honest. He beat Zhang in that fight. He was dropped twice. You know, he beat Wilder, who was absolutely finished. I actually still debating right now that was actually Deontay Wilder in the ring. So he knocked out a 22 stone Martin Bacoli that hadn't trained in
Mm.
6 months. How is he a bogeyman, Russell? How is he?
Well, I did a video on it with Roberto yesterday, and I read through the 6 wins he's had since Slow Joe put him on Button Moon, and it was shocking. It were old, fat, shot, fat men,
There's
and,
nobody
and a couple of
there. Nobody.
novices. There's
Nobody
nobody.
there.
And people have
Nobody.
got carried away, haven't they, with this go to Andy Lee. Just like they did with go to Joe McAnally. Do you know what I mean? It catches up
There's
with the.
nobody in that resume right away that warrants a world title fight. Like none.
Well, I was speaking to
Nobody.
somebody in the know yesterday, and he said, "Well, why don't Joseph Parker call out Moses Itoma?"
He's calling out Derek Chisora now. He's already beat him twice. The
Derek
first fight,
Chisora's
he lost
42
that
in a
fight.
few weeks, isn't he?
So he's calling out him. I'm just sick of everyone going mad about, like, let's be honest. When Joseph Parker was a world champion, he probably had one of the worst fights in any Titleist history with Hughie Fury. Awful fight, bloody awful.
Stinkinator.
He had an opportunity to fight Joshua, and he hugged him for 12 rounds.
I
Terrible.
thought you won that fight. Did you, Kent?
It was that bad a fight, Russell. It was really hard to score for me. I found it. See, to be honest with you, I remember watching it on YouTube, and I thought Hughie won by 2 rounds, but it was a bloody awful fight.
Well, you've
Awful.
got Huey that don't throw his right hand, and you've got Parker who he keeps them at range, and then he's a further foot away, so he's always out of range, isn't he? So it made for a bad fight, but I thought Huey nicked it. But I don't think Huey's ever recovered since then. But Parker, he had that belt handed him. Ruiz done him in his own country, New Zealand. He had the belt handed him, and it was really Tyson Fury's belt, wasn't it? Really, they took it off Tyson, didn't they?
At the time, there was problems with the promoter at the time, and Andy Lee's sponsor actually sponsored. Sorry, Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker sponsor actually promoted the show. So I thought Andy Ruiz beat him convincingly, beat him by about 3 rounds, and he got the decision. But as you say there, from he's went to Andy Lee, all he's done is fence. You know that long fencing. When he was with Pat Barry, all he done was hug and hold. He's up. I really don't like watching Joseph Parker. I think he's bloody awful.
Were Andy Lee in corner when Joyce done him?
That was his first fight.
So where were the go to Andy Lee technical advice that night? They're going in against a slow old man. You know what I mean?
And I thought as well, this is a guy. Joseph Parker got a deal from Sky when obviously Matchroom left Sky, and basically Sky were signing anybody who hadn't a deal, and he fought on Sky and he actually lost his Sky deal off the back of that. So I just think heavyweight boxing right now, you take away, you take out Moses, you take out Usyk, and it's bloody awful, isn't it? It's bloody awful.
Yeah, it is. It's one of them, isn't it? Do you want to go into part two, pal?
Yep.
All right, I'll see you on part two in 1 minute. All right. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. We're joined by Kent on part one. Women love him, men want to go for a jog with him. So we'll see you on part two in a minute. Okie dokie. Oh, peace out. Max, give me a ring. You're wrong.